Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Gear. Today, I am wanting to review my new shoes. So, we're halfway through the 5K training, and I've kind of realized that my Hoka Clifton 9s, although great, are just kind of heavy. They got too much bulk for kind of speeding things up and getting faster, and so I decided that now would be the time to switch to a new shoe and get something a little more dedicated for racing, and then these will actually be my race day shoes. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Hoka Mach 6 shoes. These things are awesome. I love them. They're awesome. I've only been running in them for about 50 miles or so, so this isn't going to be like one of those 100 mile, 200 mile shoes reviews because I'm not that professional yet. So anyway, Hoka Mach 6. Let's dive in. All right, first and foremost, why does this shoe matter? So after about 50 miles in the Hoka Mach 6, it's clear that this shoe is not trying to win any popularity contests. You know, it's built for performance, yes. But it's not a carbon plate shoe. You know, you'll never get there without a carbon plate. So here's everything you need to know about how it actually runs, trains, and holds up when the miles add up. The Mach 6 is technically a lighter version of the Clifton 9. But surprisingly, there's not really a big noticeable difference by hand. But it's only when you start running that you really start feeling the difference. So kind of some first impressions on this thing. The specs on this are that the stack height is about 37 millimeters from the heel and then 32 millimeters from the forefoot. So it has about a 5 millimeter drop. And then the weight is about 8 ounces, men's size 9, and then a 6.8 ounce for a women's size 7. So this is kind of advertised as a neutral daily trainer designed for tempo runs and kind of everyday speed work. But for me, I use it for long runs. I use it for treadmill runs. I use it for everything, really. It's my all-day, everyday shoe, training-wise. So this one actually has Hoka's new midsole foam. So Hoka replaced the CMEVA foam used in the Clifton 9s with their supercritical EVA, which is really just a fancy marketing version way of saying it's different. So the Mach 6 has the supercritical EVA, which makes this shoe snappier, lighter, more responsive without actually needing a plate. And I can attest to that. I do believe that, you know, versus the Clifton 9s, they have some bounce. They do. They have some get up and go to them. And it's a firmer ride, which I prefer, that feels more tuned for some speed. Now, about that 5 millimeter drop. A 5 millimeter drop, the drop actually changes the muscle groups that you're going to be using to run. So that 5 millimeter drop is going to encourage more midfoot or forefoot strike, which can shift muscles. So you're bringing more of your calves, your lower legs into play instead of, you know, your knees and your quads. And it helps keep your stride quick and efficient, essentially. Which is why most people don't recommend it for long runs. But I don't see any problem with it because honestly, my long runs are probably everybody else's quick runs. So it is what it is. Right out of the box, you know, it's got a clean, fast silhouette with some subtle designs. I especially like the black camo accent on the heel, which adds some, you know, kind of stealth performance look. It's kind of cool. I'm a dude. It's cool. Kind of gives that carbon fiber vibe. It's very lightweight out of the box, definitely firmer than expected versus my Clifton 9, but I like that. You know, I don't like too much cushion. I don't like it too soft. And they slipped on with absolute ease. There was not really much break-in needed. There was a little bit. I'll admit it took about a week or two for it to kind of start feeling right, but once it does, it's set in stone for good. I mean, you're good to go. The dark colorways like the black / gray combo may help reduce the visible dust, but I live in West Texas and it gets up to about 102 and blasting sun, so the darker colors do absorb heat so they can probably get a little warm. I didn't like any of the lighter colors, so I didn't get any of the lighter colors. But the mesh is very breathable. It's got a lot of micro holes in it and things like that that they help it breathe, and it's flexible. I don't know what the mesh is called. It starts with a J. But anyway, it's a really good mesh, a really good system, and it's a lot like the Hoka Clifton 9s as far as the upper. And I like it. It fits good. Fit wise, it's definitely true to size with a performance oriented, snug midfoot and forefoot. It's tight. So if you've got a narrow foot, it'll fit probably pretty good. But if you got a wide foot, I would suggest aiming more for their wider version. And that even may be pretty snug. I will agree that they are pretty snug. But for me, I like that. I like it to feel like it's on my foot and it's not going to fly off. I don't like a lot of room and I don't like a lot of movement, especially for the fact that, when you're running in intense heat, like 102 degrees, if your foot moves around a lot, it creates friction and that burns. I had that problem with my GT 2000 Asics. They had a lot of friction down on the bottoms of my feet, and they actually burned the bottom of my feet a few times because of that friction. So I like the fact that these don't move. But it feels dialed in and race ready. So let's talk performance, real training use. How am I testing this? Well, I do some treadmill intervals, outdoor runs. I do some CrossFit warm-ups, and about 3 to 6 mile long distance runs as far as long distance runs. It's very responsive. Like I said earlier, it's bouncy. It's got some good push off to it. And, I feel like it is actually taking on some of the energy needed to propel me. And I feel like it's helping with that. It feels really good, almost like a carbon shoe with a plate shoe rather than actually having a plated shoe. It's definitely helped improve my stride, and I've had a lot quicker rhythm with it. I feel bouncier, I feel quicker, I feel snappier with it. I will admit that with these bad boys, it is easy to accidentally push the pace a little bit and do too high of a cadence, because the shoe kind of gives you that fast feel. It's like sitting in a Lamborghini and feeling the temptation to go 120 miles an hour. It's tempting, but not good for the car, probably going to get a ticket, and just not good for your overall health and longevity of your shoes / car in this scenario. So it's capable, but it's easy to want to, but dial it back, keep it consistent. But these help with that. It does feel like it has a plate in it, even though it doesn't. There are a couple pain points, I will admit. Some might find that the ride is a bit firm for long, easy runs, but personally, I like it. It gives me solid ground, and it feels like it keeps me sharp. Like I said, I don't like soft cushion. I feel like that it just doesn't work for me. Every time I've had soft cushion shoes, I've gotten real bad shin splints, and I just don't feel like they're stable enough. I feel like they're just gonna collapse under my feet or just fall apart and dissolve. They probably won't, but my personal preference is a firm shoe, and these are definitely firm. Some people say that it doesn't disappear on foot like super soft shoes do, but that's kind of by design. This one kind of keeps you feeling connected to your stride. If you want max cushion, probably just look somewhere else. But as far as durability goes, this shoe is held up. It's got this rubber at the bottom that actually goes right to the edge, and it goes all the way down, and I love that. I feel like it gives you extra traction. I wouldn't run on a trail with them, but it's not really torn up very much. There's a little bit of tear down here, if you can see that, but overall, it's held up. It's not even really got those little creases that you get after you run in them a while. Now, there is a guy on YouTube that does a 200, 300 mile review on these, and these shoes hold up. There's a little bit of crease here, but that's okay. Part of getting a shoe and using it. But as far as the upper and the durability of it, It does well. It does really well. I give the durability like a 9 or an 8 out of 10. I would say that it's probably going to fall apart at some point. Every shoe does, but it holds up. There was even also a YouTuber that cut the shoe down the middle, and I'll try to have a link in the description for that guy. And then he ran it through some really heavy duty testing. Looked at some of the internal materials, especially the midsole foam and the upper structure, and it held up surprisingly well under pressure, which says a lot about how it's built, beneath the surface. So let's talk about the competitive edge. Where does this shoe fit? Where does it really shine? I would say best use case is going to be your everyday runs where you want a little bit more speed. Workout days where you're pushing pace, but you're not racing. I'm using it for racing, but this is just a 5K, so who cares? You can wear pretty much any shoe in a 5K and it'll probably be fine. Of course, I'm inexperienced, so take that with a grain of salt. But anyone who likes, that responsive, fast feel, firm without committing to an expensive plated shoe like the Saucony Endorphin, which I was comparing it to and looking at, I think it holds up. I think it's not your typical soft Hoka, but it has bite. It's got bite. And it's built with a clear purpose. It's not trying to do everything. It's a Mach 6. It's built for what it's built for, and that if you use it for what it's built for, it's going to do well. It's going to do really well. I think it feels ready for racing. Even without a carbon plate, it has that pop, it has that drive, it gives you that pizzazz that you need. I think it's great for a 5K. I think it's probably even good for a 10K, but I'm not going to, tell you that for sure. But for race efforts where you want speed, control, and enough cushion to kind of stay confident that you're going to, succeed, I think it does well. I have trained in a lot of shoes before landing on this Mach 6. I've done the Clifton 9s, I've done the Cloud Monsters, I've done the New Balance 1080s, I've done the Adidas Ultra Boost, even the Saucony Endorphins, which I mentioned. And every single one of them has their benefits, their pros and cons. But these, to me, personally, just checked all the boxes. It was snappy, firm, fit comfortably, isn't falling apart. I've been running in them for, several weeks now, and I love them. I love them. They're great. They feel a lot like my Clifton 9s, but they're lighter, they're snappier, they're firmer, they're better. So final verdict. Who's it for, who's it not for? I think if you're training for a 5K or a 10K and you want something quick, I think this is good. If you need, that one shoe that can handle both some steady runs and some up-tempo efforts, also for you. If you like a firmer but more responsive ride, I think this fits, I say if you want a soft cushion for recovery or these long, slow days, if you run primarily over 8 miles and you want comfort first, or if you prefer a wide, roomy toe box, I would not advise this. This is narrow, this is firm, and I don't know how well it holds up past 8 miles. I haven't gotten that far, but I assume based off the reviews that it doesn't. So we'll see. Would I buy these again? Absolutely. From where I'm at right now, shorter runs, faster runs, it's a perfect fit. So what's my key takeaway? I think the Hoka Mach 6, I think it's a straightforward, no-nonsense training shoe that delivers where it matters. It won't suit everyone, but if you want something that pushes you forward without holding your hand, I think this might be it. This is the right shoe. I really like it. It's done me really well. I've put it through some hard training sessions, and I've put it through some real easy training sessions, and it's done everything it needs to do. It feels good. It's comfortable. I like it a lot. So, I highly encourage you check these shoes out. If you're really thinking about it, take it from someone who's not a professional, but is getting to the point of becoming a professional. These are great. I really like them. Give them your best effort. Give them a shot. I think that they'll surprise you. So stay motivated, stay encouraged, chase every mile, and I appreciate you guys watching my really short and quick Beyond the Gear episode of my new Beyond my new Hoka Mach 6 shoes. Hopefully you guys will probably see me out there running in them when I post the final race in October. And you'll probably see them in every video up to that point of me running. So keep your eyes out, and thank you guys for joining. We'll see y'all in the next one.